Hello everybody, I'm Moldy, and this is Shadows over Loathing once again. In the last episode, we were looking for Professor Kalos, so we came to his holiday home and made a horrible salad out of the crazy vegetables, I say loosely, we found in his fridge. Now, where's this professor at? Probably in here. Science shed. That's one shed you got. Plant food. Well, we can fill up the dog dish with some plant beverages. You fill the dish up with some kind of green liquid. Presumably it's whatever plants crave. Well, Barker's water dish is filled. And, yep. Anyway, the journal. You flip the journal open to the last page. As it flows. Okay, it seems to have developed into madness by the end. Let's try a few pages back. Success. I have bred a tomato that can produce a seemingly infinite amount of juice. This could totally revolutionize the juice industry. And they said I was crazy for trying to transplant human bone marrow into a tomato. Well, that's intriguing and a little disturbing. New idea. The successful tomato bone marrow transplant implies the possibility of the reverse procedure, transplanting plant organ structure into mammalian subject. Must investigate. Skip over a lot of technical mumbo-jumbo and analysis of experimental results until you get to the next readable bit. I'm certain that I've finally got this right, but the woman at the pet store refuses to sell me any more rats until I explain what I've done with the last dozen, and I don't think she'll like the answer. I hesitate to use my loyal companion Barker for this purpose, but he's all I've got left. Anyway, there's nothing to worry about. It will definitely work this time. Oh, I really don't like where this is going. But why stop there? The next step is perfectly obvious. That's the last page. Well, the last page that's words instead of scribbles and gibberish. We can make some potions here. Fancy potions! Sleaze armor. Wait a minute, I needed some stench armor to go rooting around in that sink. And there's nothing that I can use to make stench armor. Fine, I'll make this thing that gives me muscle and melee weapon damage. What about my basic potions? Yeah. The basic stuff. Not quite as good as the fancy stuff. Complicated machine hooked up to a huge tomato. This must be the special infinite juice tomato the professor made with human bone marrow. Mine! This will come in handy over at the speakeasy. They'll be able to mix a whole dynasty of Bloody Marys in a kind of literal sense. Well, unlimited tomato juice. Anything in your toolbox? A chunk of lead, an awl, and foot gloves. So those are shoes. Makes you walk on your hands. Alright then. Guess that's what we're doing now. Okay, there's Barker. Well, this appears to be more or less a dog, except for being green and having some kind of plant pod for a head. It seems agitated, like it's guarding something. Here's your dog dish, buddy. Hey there, buddy. Is this yours? Are you Barker? Are you thirsty? There you go. You put the dish down, Barker sniffs at it, then the pod opens, revealing a fleshy pink flower and a circle of sharp white teeth at the center. A red vine-like tongue snakes out and starts lapping up the plant beverage. Holy jeez. Having finished his drink, Barker closes his head and then sniffs at you and tentatively wags his tail. Good boy? Arf! You pat him on the head, he wags his tail harder. Looks like you made a friend, and he's a companion now. You can keep your name, Barker. You weren't just born into this world like fucking Gurglu was, so I have no right to name you. You decide that Barker will be just fine and give him another pat. You can go to the speakeasy there, buddy. Sniffs at your clothes as you try to explain to him how to get to the speakeasy. Probably he'll just follow the smell of bathtub gin. Good boy. Alright, so what's in here? This greenhouse was built by a botanist and not a carpenter. Yes, it was. Okay, more crazy plants. That might be Kalos. Oh geez, there's a tall, spindly humanoid creature skulking in the corner. Examine it, not closely. The creature has a long, thin green limb like flower stems and is clothed, sort of, in ragged white petals. Its head is some kind of plant pod. You inch just a little bit closer to get a better look and realize the white petals are actually the torn and frayed scraps of a white lab coat. Professor Kalos? The creature spins around and hisses angrily. I need you to sign my course transcript. Yeah. The crazed plant professor leaps at you, but you dive for the floor and escape. Fortunately, he doesn't seem inclined to leave the greenhouse. Huh. Perhaps there's something else I can do in here. Maybe I can take out these plants? Yeah. Let's pull some weeds. This is probably just an infinite XP farm that I can work with. But maybe also killing some of them will do me some good. Might actually get something out of here I can use to unplantify Professor Kalos. Ow, that's a seed. Anyway, go kneecap that plant there. I want to guarantee death for this boy before he goes poisoning anybody. And then this last guy can just suck my cello. Crack you over the plant skull. And pulsating seed pods, wriggling wreath, and some experience. You won. People don't usually take pride in being able to beat up plants, but you've earned it. So yep, that's just another XP farm. And that's a hat. Moxie and health. Okay then. Anyway, let's open these pods. Some stylish gel. And this one's got even more stylish gel. Maybe I can make some fancy potions with that stylish gel. Or basic potions. It's... I'm not... Okay, yeah, it ups my fucking moxie. Makes sense. I could make some, like, hair gel. Hair gel translates to moxie. So... yeah... So maybe our only choice is to fight the mutated Professor Kalos. Maybe, okay, we got a mobster here helping. What's left of Agamemnon Kalos. 90 health, goddamn. And he's about to hit Gurglu. I can't allow that. Choke on some ball, Kalos! And maybe also bleed a little. That's good. Now then, a little bit of cello for ya. Crackety wackety. There you go. Now, okay, yep, just double-handed karate chop. That's a thing you can do. Intends to spear Fern Big Boots. That's gonna hit him pretty hard. But if I were to kneecap you, you'd probably do a little less damage having lost that muscle. No muscle for you. And yeah, you're still working towards that. And I can also further lower your stuff with a little hypnosis. There you go. Now you're only gonna hit for 9 instead of 13. And cello. And there's that bleeding for you. And yeah, you just doink. You doinked him with your friggin' plant mouth. Now, 8 damage or also 8 damage. Now, would this further lower your muscle? Well, it's already down to 1. So, probably wouldn't do any good. Just shoot this bastard. There you go. That's good. Some nice shooty magoots for ya. And here's a ball. And one final bonk from the cello to put you down, Professor. Did we beat the mutation out of him? You won. Looks like people who live in glass houses shouldn't, be plants. Well, his face is open. The crumpled remains of Professor Kalos. He's already starting to wither and smell bad. Gross. Oh, dang it. Now how are you gonna get your transcript signed? Search him. You pick through the tattered remains of the professor's lab coat and find his faculty ID and a pen. Well, a signature written in the professor's pen should be just as good as if it was signed by the professor himself, right? Nobody could possibly dispute that. You sign your transcript with a reasonable approximation of the signature on his ID. Well, I've completed my major, and I took his pants. You also find a pair of pants discarded in the corner. Guess the professor grew out of them. You could take them for a good measure, by which I mean you could measure them, and they fit you, which is good. Sweet. Well, we murdered a professor. Ooh, these pants give me some health regen, which is super nice. And I can stab people with the professor's pen. That's good, but I think I'll stick to the pocket watch. Real great to really knock people's stats down. Anyway, that takes care of one major. Off to the campus again. Now, what was my other things? Complete the geology course. That's right, I gotta find the geology, and I also gotta find the spiders classroom. That's right, I chose spiders. I saw an option on the list of classes for spiders, and I chose it. So, this must be symbolic of something, probably bats. Yes, probably. This sculpture is called Zero Man. That's also what you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, man. Okay, so they got a man made of zeros and some giant bat wings. So, oh right, the admissions person left. Maybe one of y'all could tell me where I find the spiders and geology room. So, if it's a subject I'm familiar with, I'm more than happy to help. Where's geology at? The study of rocks, right. That was all I know. Janet might be able to tell you something more. Okay, what about spiders? I've read a book or two on the topic. One thing I've noticed is that they aren't exactly subtle creatures. For many of them, their name is a dead giveaway for their abilities. The Arctic ankle-biting spider is quite resistant to cold, for example, and uses cold-based attacks, while the Chthonian magma spider breathes fire, so you would do well to be able to resist and douse flames when fighting that one. For the ones not so transparently named, well, all you have to do is fight them and see what they do. Well, then you can be prepared for that next time. Okay, so maybe geology you help me with? Well, I don't know a lot about the details, but Dr. Morton gave me a tour of the Hex Rock Quarry. Simply fascinating. Have you seen it yet? I haven't even been to the classroom yet. Oh, you're in for an exciting time. Alright, what about the spiders, though? Oh, no, I can't tell you anything about spiders. Horrible things. Ask Douglas. Not a fan. They get all up inside my gears and, ugh, awful. Well, that's all we gonna get out of there. And I'm pretty sure Eyeball Man isn't gonna be much help on the subject of my subjects. He probably won't be giving me so much. Oh, there's geology. And the spider wing. Also, shadow stuff. Stick your hand in the hole and grab the first thing you brush against and yank it back out. Shadow grease. Now then, can I go in here, please? Student ID, Garplot Fudro, identified. Access to the doorway is limited to faculty students. That's me. Thanks. You hear a thump. The door opens. Now, what do I have to do in here? Ooh, that's a shiny rock. Informational plinth. One of the main subjects of SIT's geology department is the study of hypercrystalline thaumophoric diorites, known to the layman as Hex Rock. Hex Rock has many fascinating properties. For more information, continue to the right and read the rest of the plinths. Yeah, that's a lot of reading. Also, a lot of interesting things going on with this rock. And I seem to be getting hit by these little rocks as they float by. Ow, 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 ow. Anyway, where the professor at? This elevator isn't powered. Of course it's not. That machine is missing something, and I guess we're gonna actually have to read all these fucking plinths then. Like other diorites, the specific mineral composition and configuration of hex rock varies from sample to sample. Some of these configurations have been observed to violate the known laws of physics, such as gravity, see display. Other configurations have been observed to violate the known laws of this state, such as aggravated assault, sample not available for safety reasons. Alright then, and this one? A hex rock sample of the correct composition and sufficient mass can exert an influence over the non-thalomorphic, viz. Ordinary and boring, rocks in its vicinity. This property is referred to as charisma. So what you're saying is, this hexagonal rock got that riz. Perhaps most interestingly, some hex rock samples have been observed to be thematically entangled with other larger samples in such a way as to cause the larger hex rocks to materialize or dematerialize. The smaller switch hex rocks are interacted with, see display. This appears to work regardless of distance or intervening obstruction, and sometimes a single switch hex rock exerts control over more than one target hex rock. I'll be honest with you, we haven't got the foggiest idea of how this works, and some of us are kind of freaked out by it. So, switch rocks make target rocks do things. Floaty and twice as spinny. We touch it. Nah, again. Touch it. Wow, touch it again. Neat. So that's what that plinth was explaining. We touch the shocky rock and it makes other rocks happen. And as for you, even a small hex rock of the correct composition, when placed in a Morton engine such as this one, can be used to generate an almost unlimited amount of electricity, albeit of low to middling voltage. This particular sample, for instance, powers the elevator down to the department quarry. Unfortunately, attempts to artificially synthesize this type of hex rock have not yet been fruitful. Despite what the sign says, there doesn't seem to be actually be a hex rock in that engine thingamajig. So sounds like we're gonna have to go find that. Out of the way, Molly. I'm trying to walk through the classroom on my hands. Where's the professor? This is where the professor would sit if there was a professor here. Yes, they would. So we could head into the spider wing. Spiders. Test door, disregard. Meta acoustics. Yep, it's a door, regard it. By regarding this door, you are instructed to disregard it. Disregard it. Yep, just back and forth. This drinking fountain is filled with spider eggs, making it the second grossest drinking fountain you've ever seen. That raises questions that I don't want answers to. Meta acoustics, I don't think we're gonna be able to get in there because we ain't doing no spider, because that's not related to one of my classes. And what about this? What's going up on here on the roof? Ooh, another shadow pocket. Shadow milkshake, yummy. A massive petrified pigeon poop. Well, we're gonna see how it feels. Fustulent grulch. That's a word I never thought I'd hear. This is where the pigeons do all of their business. And I ain't gonna get me 4 stench armor. You aren't afraid of pigeons, but you're a little apprehensive about wandering into the middle of a huge crowd of them. Well, whatever. So, what's going on in the telescope? Well, that's a nice constellation you got there. Not quite sure what it's supposed to be. That looks kind of like a coffin. That's... Maybe that's an eraser erasing a drawing of sorts. That's obviously a gun. Meat. Some fish, possibly bombs. Neat. Didn't think I'd be able to see the stars super well in broad daylight. So, what about these? Whatever these machines do, this one isn't doing it. Clearly, there's nothing over there except even more of these machines. Damn. Well then, guess we're off to spider class. Yeah, I'm part of this class. Going on in. You walk into the classroom and find a bunch of undergrads seated at the desks, fidgeting impatiently. Geez, finally. Aw, but we could have left if he'd been another 6 hours late. Aren't all you kids supposed to be on break? Well, we would be, yeah, except we've been waiting for you to get here and start the class. I glanced at my transcript, and sure enough, you signed up to teach this class, not take it. Whoops. Well, I am a teacher, a job that I am very unqualified for, a job that we're gonna have to do in the next episode, because I'm all out of time for this one, so thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.